Welcome back, citizen, and congratulations on making it through your first hour and safely flying your ship into space. Now, you have a new question. What next? In Star Citizen, you are free to choose your path, but as a new player you likely have no idea where to begin. Communication, navigation, and how to make money are foremost in your mind. To help you with this, today I'm going to introduce you to the device that will assist you in every aspect of your daily ventures through the verse. Welcome to a Star Citizen Noob's Guide, the MobiGlas. The MobiGlas is a wrist-bound holographic device that, when activated, projects an interactive screen in front of you. It displays information about your physical status, your finances, the equipment and ships you have available, the work both above and below board that you can carry out to earn UEC, and other functions. This video will give a general overview of the MobiGlas and tabs within, but there will be separate videos on contracts, the vehicle loadout manager, and reputation which expand upon those in the coming weeks. As with so many aspects of Star Citizen, it's important to note that this is the MobiGlas in its current format. CIG are working on a completely redesigned MobiGlas experience as shown in the concept image on screen now. So this video relates only to the current iteration, and when the new one is added to the game, we will revisit it. A further point to note is that the MobiGlas device which sits on your avatar's wrist is customisable like current smartwatches. In the centre of the plaza at Noob on Microtech is Factory Line, which is a store very evocative of a well-known tech company in the 21st century. The first level when you descend the stairs is where you can buy new casings for your MobiGlas in a range of different colours. However, I do want to warn you that equipping the new casing is known to cause issues, and it's not uncommon for a player to have to carry out a full character reset. So I recommend that for now you don't take the risk, but monitor Spectrum and Reddit for any future changes to this. To access your MobiGlas, you can press one of three different keys. F1 opens the home page, F2 opens the star map, and F11 opens the comlink. For the duration of this video, I'm only using F1 to open and close the MobiGlas. Here you can see the home screen of your MobiGlas with several panels and icons. The personal details panel shows your username, your current amount of UEC, and any crime stat you have. We'll talk about that another time. The vitals monitoring shows your heart rate and any injuries to your person, although no details are presented about the nature of the injuries within the MobiGlas. External atmosphere shows you the air pressure and chemical composition of the environment outside your suit, and can give you an indication as to whether the air in that location is safe to breathe. Vehicle status and tracked mission status are not currently functional, and suit status shows you how much oxygen and EVA fuel you have and the power remaining in your suit, plus a timer showing how long the oxygen will last. Please note that as power dynamics have not been implemented in the game yet, the power output does not change. Along the bottom of the home screen are 9 other icons to the left, a circle with 6 squares in the middle, and further representations of the suit status and your UEC balance on the right. This bottom bar is present on all screens and is your navigation through the MobiGlas. The circle takes you back to the home page. But let's take a look at each of the 9 other tabs and what you can find and do there. This is the section where you can communicate in text format with other players on the same server, as well as manage the appearance of your game chat, connect to VoIP, request landing and takeoff if you haven't already set a hotkey, and set up parties with other players or add new friends within the game. In the middle grey bar at the top, you will see a number showing how many players are currently on that server. Keep an eye on that if you're trying to get a friend to log in with you. At the top left, you have 3 tabs: Channels, Friends, and Pending. Channels is for any active channel, and at the very least will have the global chat channel. If you're connected to the audio channel, the chat panel will show 3 symbols showing audio, mic, and signal strength. You can toggle the connection to the global audio channel in the top grey box. If you set up a party, you will also see the chat for that in this left-hand box. The Friends channel will show all the players you have added as a friend, plus the Open Com channel, and if you are at a space station or city, the local landing services. If you click on the diamond symbol at the right of the box for the facility, this is one of the ways you can request to take off or land. In the case of your friends, if you click this symbol, it will open a voice channel to that particular person, but both of you will need to have VoIP enabled for this to work. Alternatively, if you right click on your friend's name, you get 4 options: invite to party, invite to channel, remove from friends, and mute player. The middle of the screen shows the global chat, and on the right there are 2 additional tabs: members and manage. Members shows you everyone who is currently logged into that server. Again, you have the button to open comms, and if you right click on a name here, you have the same options as with your friends, except remove from friends is replaced with send friend request. Any pending request will show under the pending tab back on the right hand side. The Manage tab includes another way to toggle the audio channel connection and a toggle to allow in-game notifications to be shown on your HUD. You will see throughout the game pop-ups for various things appear on screen with instructions to use left bracket to accept or right bracket to reject. Toggling this option turns these notifications off, but it does mean you'll need to check your pending tab when you're expecting invites or friend requests. You can also change the colour of the game chat on this screen and the HUD, which I actually find useful as I sometimes find it difficult to read the default blue depending on the location I'm at. There isn't a full colour range for this, but the options available should be sufficient for your needs. And finally, there are 2 sliders to adjust the volumes of your microphone and headphones while in VoIP. All vehicles come with stock weapons and/or components, all of which can be swapped out for better models. You can also equip paints and flare items to ships that usually come separately, except where a paint has been included as part of a pledge. This screen is where you can change the loadout to something more suitable to your needs. Some key points to remember. The ship you want to change must be stored at the space station or landing zone that you are at. It cannot be elsewhere in the galaxy and must not be sitting on the hangar floor. The items you want to equip must also be in storage at the location, not elsewhere, on your person, or stored in the ship. Not all components fit all ships. You need to take note of the size suitable to the vehicle in question and ensure you have bought the correct ones. I will cover vehicle loadouts in more detail in a video in a couple of weeks, so keep your eye on the feed and turn on the notifications to be alerted when it goes up. As you traverse the system, carrying out various contracts or exploring, you will almost certainly collect a lot of items from boxes and the remains of your enemies. Some of this you will place in local storage, or you may be a player who keeps certain types of items at certain major landing zones and space stations to keep everything organised. In Knickknacks, you can check what items you have stored in every location you have visited that has a local storage space. First, you have to select the system in the top left box, and beneath will appear a list of the planets and Lagrange points that you have visited. Click Open on each of these, and a further part of the menu tree will open, showing you each space station or landing zone linked to that planet or Lagrange point. Click Open again, and you then see all the items you have stored in that local inventory. If you have any ships at that location, you'll also then be able to click Open again to see any items you have stored on the ship. You can filter by the different categories of items. However, you can't move items to other locations through this menu. You physically have to go to the location and collect the items if you want to use them, sell them, or store them elsewhere. As with many lists in the game at this stage, this is not alphabetical, so you will need to click through the pages and scroll to find an item. There's no search function. To navigate this menu in reverse, you need to go to the path listed above the tree and double-click on the stage of the tree you wish to go back to, in the same way you may do on Windows File Explorer. The game's main star map is problematic and, as you might guess, is in the pipeline for an overhaul. However, while the current version does not always work the way it should, it is functional and you can get good use out of it, particularly over greater distances. Dominating the screen is a map of the system you're in. Currently only Stanton exists, so this is what you will see. At the normal magnification, you'll see the star itself, the planets, and the Lagrange points for each planet. Without getting into the science, Lagrange points in Star Citizen are areas where space stations have been established along the solar orbit of each planet, typically within a dust cloud or nebula. If you double-click your mouse on any planet or Lagrange point, the map will zoom in closer, and you will then see further objects. For the planets, this will be the moons and space stations orbiting them, and for the Lagrange points, it will show the space stations. Double-click on a moon and you zoom in again, and this time we'll see all the major landing zones on the surface. To navigate it to any point within the system, you simply need to click once on the location and then click the Set Route button at the top of the screen. This should then provide a route to the location in the top left hand of the screen, plus the amount of fuel needed to complete the route and the amount of fuel that you have. If the fuel numbers are red, you do not have enough fuel and will have to fill up or set a shorter route to a station within reach where you can refill and then set a new route from. Routes may have one stop or they may have multiple stops. For example, you may be in deep space. Sometimes you might need to send UEC to another, but this is on the opposite side of your company due to the planet's current rotation. Multi-cruise ship. You can locate or giving a player a reward for helping you then set route, and you have a route that takes you to Crusader, on the MO then to an orbital marker. The panel shows your current amount of UEC. Plotted routes show up as a green line on the map, and on your ship HUD, only the next stop on the route will show. If the player is not in your party or on your friends list, you can type in their name in the box using the relevant button at the top of the screen to find the correct one. The button to the left of the set route one is not as a friend button. They will already be in the right of the clear route button will send to the player is your current location. Click on their name and you can also zoom in and out of the star map using your mouse scroll. Again, you see your current balance. If you hold down left click and move your mouse, you change the angle at which you are viewing the map from direct above to send the orbital plane or rotate the map around. For figures that are 4 or more digits, you do not need to reposition the map, such as if you're trying to send 10,000, 100,000, etc. The box below will then show you how much this transfer will cost. Transfers are not free. There is a 0.5% service fee added to the total balance to simulate the cut that the company MO Trader would take for handling the transfer. All you need to do then is click send. These are usually instant, and the player will see a pop-up on the screen informing them the money has been sent to them. When starting out, you need to start earning UEC as soon as possible, and the primary way to do this is by completing contracts. There's a lot more to contracts that can be fit into this video, so look out for a more in-depth video in the next few weeks. For now, we'll just have a general overview of how to use this screen. Contracts are initially broken down into general and personal, which are the first two tabs at the top left. General contracts are all above board and are available to everyone to carry out. Personal contracts are often more on the shady side or even downright criminal, and personal contracts are offered to you alone. Note everyone will get these offered to them at different stages depending on location and past contracts completed. There are then several different types of contract: delivery, search, service beacons, investigation, maintenance, bounty hunter, mercenary, research and priority. In 3.18, racing is also being added, and work is in progress on adding salvage missions in a future update. To accept any contract, click on it in the second column to bring up the contract description, then click the Accept Offer button in the bottom right. Once a contract is accepted, it appears under the third tab, Accepted. This can sometimes take a few seconds, so you may need to be patient or you may need to re-accept it. You can accept multiple contracts at a given time. On the bottom right, you can now see two buttons: Abandon, which means you can give up the contract before completion, or Untrack, which stops the contracts being tracked on your HUD. If the contract you're looking at is not being tracked, the Untrack button will be replaced with a Track button. You can only track one contract at a time, but you can still progress in all contracts simultaneously. Note that if you have conflicting contracts such as Call to Arms and a personal mercenary contract to kill a target, you will likely fail the Call to Arms one as you have acted illegally and are no longer considered an eligible contractor. The next tab along is the History tab, which shows all contracts you have accepted and either completed or failed during that play session. It does not show all contracts ever carried out. Finally, the Beacons tab is where you as a player can set your own contracts for other players to complete. Click on the +Create Beacon button and this screen appears. You have three different types of beacon available: escort, medical assistance and personal transport. The destination option only becomes available if you select the personal transport option and lists all the available locations in the game, but not in any sensible order, so you will need to scroll and look for the place you want to go. Under the minimum provider rating, you can set a minimum reputation level you want the accepting player to have. Then finally, you set how much you want to pay the accepting player upon completion of the contract. You need to manually type the amount in, again without any commas. Once set up, click Broadcast Beacon, and it will appear in Other Players' Service Beacons tab under General. The final button on this screen to look at briefly for now is the Contract Ratings in the top right. This opens when you hover over it rather than clicking and staying open. Here you can see your ratings for 4 different contract types: Combat Assistance, Escort, Medical Assistance and Personal Transport. You then have 2 different ratings for each. The Employer rating, which is your performance in terms of hiring other players for that kind of contract, and Employee rating, which is your performance carrying those out. This is one of the 2 methods of tracking reputation in the game. When at certain space stations or landing zones, or docked with a refueling vehicle, you can repair, refuel and or restock your ships using this tab. When at a location you cannot do this, or while not on board your ship, this screen shows. However, once in the pilot seat and at a suitable location, you will then see this screen. For the most part, it's self-explanatory. When no service is required for any of the 4 options, these red buttons appear and you can't take any action. However, if you need to repair, refuel or restock, the button becomes active and you'll see an amount of UEC it costs to bring that category up to 100%. However, for refueling, you also have the manual button. Click on that and a new screen appears. Here you can manually choose how much you want to restock by and more finely control how much you are spending. This can be useful when low on funds and needs just enough fuel to be able to complete a contract, especially if you're focusing on the trading of commodities. You use the slider to select how much you want to refuel to, and the total UEC appears in the right hand panel. Then you just click buy to complete the transaction. Initially, the journal page includes some text entries relating to nutrition and first aid, the star map, the contract manager, and what counts as offences in the jurisdictions of Crusader Industries Space and the wider United Earth Empire. There is also a document regarding commodity price alerts. This will be updated constantly through the game, and you will see on-screen pop-ups as demand for different commodities changes and the buy-sell prices change accordingly. It's definitely worth reading through these, as they also give new players some good tips on some of the game's basics. As you go through the game, additional entries will be added, especially where you have read a document or listened to a recording. The Delphi tab is where you can track your reputation with the various individuals and organisations within the game. This will be a topic I'll cover more in depth in another upcoming video. In essence, every contract you carry out will impact your reputation with one or more group, and the higher the reputation, the greater your potential income. However, too low a reputation, and you can find yourself not being offered work, or even being the target of an unhappy former employer. In Star Citizen, reputation is not as simple as completing a few jobs and having a permanently good reputation. You have to maintain and nurture the relationship, or it can very well quickly reduce to neutral. As previously stated, the reputation model isn't fully completed, and changes will be made over time. I will talk about the current model in more detail in the next month. That is the end of our overview of the MobiGlas. Please let me know in the comments if this has been useful, and as always, please give the video a like if it was. If you have any further questions about the MobiGlas, do ask away, and I'll do my best to answer them. I would like to take this opportunity to say a massive thank you to everyone for the support in the last few months. The most recent 2 videos seem to have really benefited people, and I have loved reading the feedback you've given. Subscriptions have more than doubled in that time, and I've even gained 2 new referrals in-game, so a special thank you to both of you. If you are new to the channel, please join the existing subscribers, and remember to turn on the notifications to be alerted when the next guide is published. And, of course, if you haven't signed up to the game yet, please consider using my code, which is on screen now and in the description below, to gain 5,000 UEC when you create your account. My Twitter, Instagram and Hive Social can all be found at Jedi Andy TV, as well as my Twitch channel where I stream a variety of games, including Star Citizen. The link to the community Discord is also in the description below. For now, good luck in all your money-making ventures in the verse. I'll see you next time.